This video is going to be about why obesity is a disease. I am reacting to two different doctors. One of them is Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford and also Dr. Anya Yastreboff. They're both obesity specialists and talk a little bit about why obesity is considered a disease. Make sure and stay all the way to the end because Dr. Anya actually talks about what GLPs are doing to help with the disease of obesity. Let's get started.
We've known that obesity was a disease for, I would say, in the order of about 70 plus years. The issue is that most people didn't realize that. We think it's an issue with willpower. You know, that if you just eat less and exercise more, then you can conquer, quote unquote, this obesity issue.
Okay, first off, why have they known for all this time and no one has told us about it? How many times have I gone to the doctor and talked about my weight and was basically told I just needed to diet and exercise, like she said? If the science has been there behind it for that long, why has it taken so long for the doctors to catch up on that, for the world to catch up on that? Maybe they needed more proof. Okay, so now we're going to delve into some reasons why obesity is considered a disease. So maybe that will help explain some things.
Let's focus in on the organ that's most important with regards to regulating our weight, and that is our brain. So if we were to take my brain and really slice it straight down the middle, we would get to a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus controls what we eat, how much we store. And there are two primary pathways down which we can travel in the brain.
Okay, so the first path is the one that people without the disease of obesity use. Okay, that's people that don't have a problem with eating too much food or whatever. They don't have a problem with the disease of obesity. Okay, so they use this pathway. It has lots of confusing scientific terms that she uses, but if you want to hear all about that, you can go to the video. I don't know if it's going to be a link, okay, because YouTube's not letting me do links yet. I don't know, I got to do some stuff for them to let me do a link in the description, whatever. I'll put it down though. You can copy and paste it and you can go to that video and watch the whole thing. But I just put a portion of that clip next.
That pathway is what we call the anorexigenic pathway. For people that travel well down that pathway, they eat less and they store less.
There's a second path, and that's the one that people with the disease of obesity, like myself, that's the path that my body takes from my hypothalamus, and she's going to talk about that next.
For patients that have obesity, often they travel down an alternate pathway, the orexigenic, and orexigenic is the opposite of anorexigenic, which means they eat more and store more. So that signaling is part of the disease process that is obesity.
As you saw, that kind of blows my mind, okay? When I learned about that physiology in my body that's different for the disease of obesity, it blew my mind. And you know what? It takes a load off of my shoulders. You're going to find out a little bit more about that later as we watch more of this video, why it takes a load off of my mind. Okay, let's now move on to the next clip I have with Dr. Anya Yastreboff. She is going to explain a couple of other things about the disease of obesity. Now, she's the one who co-authored a book with Oprah Winfrey called Enough. She has written most of the book and Oprah just had a little snippet. I have not read the book. I've just heard lots of good things about it, that Dr. Anya does a great job of explaining the disease of obesity. You make your own decisions if you like Oprah or not, but check out the book if you want to. The full link to this interview it's not a link, copy and paste it. It's going to be down below, so you can watch the whole video if you want. All right, let's get started on that one.
So in terms of obesity, what's actually happening is that our body developed this amazing biology, and that biology was created so that we could store energy. And we store energy as fat. We call it the defended fat mass, or set point. And so what happens is that there's all these hormones that communicate to our brain, this is how much energy you should store.
Okay, so I have heard of Setpoint theory before. That is nothing new. I heard about that years ago, but calling it defended fat mass, that is something new for me. The thing that stuck out for me is about the regulating hormones that have to do with eating. And I did not know that GLP-1 drugs, that is what it is. I think it's a type of hormone. Again, I'm not a doctor, but Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford is going to be talking again about some other things that cause obesity. And I found it very interesting.
We know of at least 100 different things that contribute to a person having obesity. Genetics is does play an important role. We know that the heritability of obesity is on the order of 50 to 85%. Many of the patients that actually have obesity have made significant strides to change their diet. Their body continues to defend a high set point for weight. So I also want to recognize that, and to anyone that's listening, that it is not your fault.
Yes, let's say it again. It is not your fault. That took such a weight off of me. That's what I was talking about, learning these biological reasons why what I have been battling my whole life is a disease and not just a lack of willpower. When I first heard that, I just broke down in tears. It is not your fault. Now, one other reason why is because we live in what's called an obesogenic society.
Obesogenic environment. In the environment that we live in, that is filled with ultra processed food, all this stress, lack of physical activity, lack of sleep.
And we could go on and on and on about the contributors to obesity, and it gives you an understanding of how complex this disease is.
The people who already have obesity, who have these changes in terms of how much fat their brain tells their body to store, we have to provide them or offer them additional treatment. Now, in terms of medications, what we think is they actually work on that defended fat mass. So the medications, most of the medications that we have, they actually work in the brain. There are receptors in the brain for these various hormonal pathways, and that is actually how we think that they work.
So that is why I have a load taken off of my shoulders. This is the disease of obesity, and it's not my fault. It's not your fault. There's so many factors going on, and these GLP-1s are here to help us. Just like I take blood pressure medication for my blood pressure, and just like people with high cholesterol take cholesterol medication, it's a medication to manage a chronic disease. So we don't have to feel guilty about it. We don't have to feel like it's our fault or a lack of willpower. This is a place of grace for you and for me on this journey. And I hope this video has helped you have a little bit more grace for yourself and to remember that God gives us His grace to take care of our bodies. He loves us right where we are, even if you're the before picture like I am, okay? We don't have to worry about that. So feel good about taking your medicine for your disease and follow the channel so you can have more encouragement and have other people get more encouragement too. I'll talk to you later.